Well, the Senate may be on a 2-week recess, but there's a battle going on in the nation's capital, and they can't escape it. Earlier this week, President Obama nominated Judge Merrick Garland to fill the Supreme Court vacancy left by Justice Antonin Scalia after he passed away. Garland is currently the chief judge for the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. He has a strong resume, including roles in the Oklahoma City and Unabomber prosecutions, but Senate Republicans refuse to confirm him, saying the next president should pick the nominee. Joining me now to discuss this battle and how it could play out is constitutional law expert and local attorney Rod Sullivan. Rod, thank you for being here this morning with us.
Good morning, Scott.
Well, okay, Rod, first I want to start with you about the process here. Republicans saying they are not going to go forward with it. Constitutionally, can they do that? The president's laid out who he wants.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's on the Congress to confirm.
Yeah. There's no requirement that there be 9 justices on the court at any one time. And as a matter of fact, the only requirement is that there be 6 to have a quorum. The position of the 8th or 9th justice has been empty for long periods of time in the past. When Justice Kennedy was appointed, it was taken for 9 months. So it's really not that unusual. And, you know, this whole thing of arguing about whether or not a appointment is going to get a hearing from the Senate goes on all the time. We just don't pay attention to it because it's with the Supreme Court this time.
Now, so if they hold it and they can, and Republicans push it until the next president comes into office, we could be without a justice, just hypothetically, maybe a year or so. You say they need a 6-person quorum, so this doesn't impede their ability to hear cases?
No, it doesn't affect their ability to hear cases at all, and it's really not all that unusual. Probably what will happen is after the presidential election, if a Democrat is elected, the Senate will reconvene and consider him. At that point, if a Republican is elected, then they'll wait until after the new Republican president is sworn in and allow that president to appoint the 9th justice.
So if the Republicans stonewall on this, can they do that for a year? It's their duty to confirm. Do they have the ability to keep stonewalling for 9, 10 months?
It's not their duty to confirm. It's their duty to advise and consent. And you know, they could advise by simply saying, we're not going to take something up. As any parent knows, you can withhold consent, and that's the same effect as not giving it. So the duty here, really, quite frankly, they can go indefinitely without appointing a new justice. As long as they don't fall below the number of 6, the Supreme Court continues to function as it always has. You know, the Supreme Court has had 6 justices in the past. It's had as many as 10 justices in the past, and consequently, the number really is not fixed at 9. We just have this number sort of stuck in our mind, sort of like Sheldon Cooper. 9 knocks is appropriate. Well, we're of the opinion that 9 justices is necessary, and it really isn't under the law.
I don't know if you've researched, have you determined whether or not Garland looks like someone that could maybe go middle of the road and he could get both parties behind him, or is this more of a controversial pick by the president?
No, I think it's possible. I think if Hillary Clinton was to be elected president, the Senate might say, well, we believe that Hillary Clinton would appoint somebody even more to the left than Judge Merrick, and therefore they might consider Judge Merrick and approve him. So that's certainly a possibility in this case.
And then when this goes through, is there, and say you've got a major decision by the Supreme Court, comes down to a tie decision because you don't have that 9th justice, what happens in those cases?
In that, you know, the Supreme Court receives 8,000 petitions for certiorari a year and hears 50. In those other 7,950 cases, the lower court decision, which is a Circuit Court of Appeals decision, stands. And there are many cases, many issues where the circuits are divided on an issue of law, and it's never been resolved by the Supreme Court. So it's really not as disruptive as people might think it will be.
Rod Sullivan, I appreciate you taking the time to clear this all up for it. We will see you again soon, I'm sure. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you, Scott.